Have you ever wondered how the 1% manage their money? How the 1% think about their money? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how the 1% manage and how they think about money and their life. John D. Rockefeller, in his book, 38 Letters to His Son, one of his things that he talks about is his attention to detail over the money he has, over the business he has, and where the cash flow is going in, where the cash flow is going out. And I've noticed in successful people, they're more diligent, financially successful people, they're more diligent in where their money is. They have the income velocity, because just because you have income velocity, meaning just because you make a ton of money, it doesn't mean you know how to manage it. But one of these successful people that have built wealth, built empires, one of the biggest thing they focus on is the diligence they have with their money. So what does that mean? When they look at their money, they see how money comes in, how money goes out, where it comes from, where it's leaking. And then from there, John D. Rockefeller talks about how he noticed bottlenecks. So that's how he was able to understand the numbers, able to acquire companies, because he understood the numbers and where their bottlenecks resided. He knew the numbers of other companies, his company, everything better than everybody else. He knew the flow from his businesses and exactly where a bottleneck would reside based off of the numbers. He was so meticulous about his money and where it's going that he was able to outspend if he needed to outspend, because he knew exactly every dollar. This is how much I'm going to lose on barrels, or this is how much I'm going to lose over here, because he knew his numbers so well. And we forget to do that. We forget to do that. All we think about is, hey, paychecks in, paychecks out, paychecks in, paychecks out. We forget to measure our money. We forget to keep track of our money. And what happens is we don't know what we don't know. We don't know where the spending is going. We don't know where the money's coming in from. Luckily, sometimes it's just not luckily, but sometimes it's just one source that it's coming in from, and we just don't know where it's going out. And we keep losing track of it. And what that causes a lot of anxiety towards money, a lot of negative feedback loops with money, because whenever we think about money, whenever we do money, it's in a matter of, hey, I don't even know what's going on here. And what that causes, uncertainty causes the anxiety and the stress. And even a lot of Bible believers, main thing the Bible talks about is money. Talks about money. Why is that? Because they know, the Bible knows, God knows that in this world it revolves around money, and we need to keep attention to detail. And what this will require is some diligence. You have to go through the pain of looking through your money, your bank statements, and all that stuff, where the money is going. So before you can do any of that, first you have to see where you are, see where you currently are. Then you have to look at your past, see what your past has done to put you where you are. And then you have to look at the future, where you want to go, where you want to go. And one thing I've developed, it's super simple in terms of managing your money. Just, I mean, this is the bare bones as it gets, is you get your income source, four buckets to apply to. That's it. Four buckets. And this is super simple, because the thing is, when you complicate it, oh, I need to make it this way, I need to do it this way, I need to do it this way, people get even more stressed out. I get more stressed out. You get more stressed out. And what that requires is simplify your money habits. Super simple. And this has caused me not to stress about money, but to focus on making more money so I could funnel it through the channel and building more wealth at the end of the day. So this is the four buckets. Your money comes in, say you made 20 grand that month, 20 grand that month, 2,000 will go for savings. Sorry, 2,000 will go for your tithes and generosity, meaning giving back. Like, I just believe a heart of generosity. Don't try to hold on to money. The Bible talks about you give your tenth and God will bless the rest. And whenever I've applied that principle in my life, I don't know how it works to the T. It's worked for me. And so I have full faith in that, full belief in that. Doesn't mean you have to give to a church. you can go give to people that you know that need help. All right. So generosity, giving back to people. Hey, homeless people, you're doing something, just doing goodwill out there, just putting goodwill, and good stuff comes back to you, right? Giving to orphanages, widows, people who really need the money. At the end of the day, man, we live in America. I live in America, and the abundance of wealth is everywhere. And to think that this 2,000 bucks is going to kill me at the end of the month, it's not the way to think. Just give 2,000 bucks. You made 20 grand that month. 2,000 um goes to so 10% goes to generosity. 40% will go to your living expenses. Okay, so just keep in mind, I'm just giving you broad framework right now, and then later I'm going to explain it more in detail. 40% will go to your so your living expenses, your car, your food, your living day to day, your electricity, your house, your rent, all that stuff. You need to squeeze it into this 40. Okay. And basically what that does is that's watching out for your current state right now. So that is watching out for your current state, making sure you live, making sure you survive, right? So there's no point of living up way above your means for no reason when you don't really need to. Just to impress people we don't really need to impress. And so one thing I learned is through time is when I kept more attention on my money, more money came in. I had more money when I kept more attention on it. And not living for anybody, like, man, I don't buy new clothes. I don't like I make plenty of money, but I don't really care for those things. As long as I look presentable, and that's good. I don't need $100 t-shirts, right? So 40% goes to your living. It's super simple. That's 50% taken care of, right? So that's watching the growth, the generosity is, hey, I'm giving back. 40% is you are living in your current state where you are currently. Then we go on to your future. These are your future money. This is your future money. The next 50%, 10%, another $2,000 needs to go to something that's going to fuel your future. And the best, highest leverage thing that I can think about is your knowledge. You have to think, you have to give into your brain, right? You have to give into the books, and these aren't even all the books I have. These are just like the main ones that I really enjoy. Courses, mentors. I spent well over 40 grand on mentors, easy, through my life. 40 grand on mentors. Can you believe that? But the result of that, all that put together, hasn't even come to full fruition, right? I make 10 times that easily. And then on top of that, it hasn't even fully kicked in yet. And it's just getting started. And that's the thing. So 10% needs to go into the future. Why? Because it's the same thing as generosity. You need to give for the future. You need to understand that the future is where you're going to be living at soon. And the more you learn and the more you do, the more you will earn. And you'll notice people don't learn anymore. They stop learning, and what that causes is stagnation. It's like stuck water, right? Business lessons in water. There's so many business lessons in water. One of them is being stuck, not moving, not doing something. And what that causes is bacteria to grow, making the water nasty. You don't want to be drinking still water. Would you rather drink some water that's been filtered and moved around, or would you rather drink water that's been sitting in a cup for 2 weeks? Right? We move our bodies, right? We move our bodies. Once we stop moving our bodies, when you retire, you expire. Once we stop moving our bodies, things start aching, things pain everywhere. Yes, there's a moment of rest, but same thing with our brains. Same thing with our brains. We got to give into the brain, because once we stop learning, it starts decaying. So we got to push it to the test, and we got to push our abilities every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. That's 10%. The next 40%, you got to try to do whatever you can to save that. Why? Same thing as anything else in life. Try to save that 40%. And what your goal will be for that 40% is to store it for future investments. Store it. I believe in full completion. I do not believe in, oh, I'm going to do a little bit here, a little bit there. Full completion. Meaning, if I'm going to do a task, just do the task fully, get it done, move on to the next task. I have a checklist. I don't have a million things on my checklist. I do have quite a few things on my checklist, but they're tasks. Cross the task out, move on to the next. I'm not going to half cross it out and move on to the next one, half cross it out, move on to the next one, half cross it out. I believe in full completion. 40% goes to savings for storage for the future. What that's going to mean is you save up this money, you accomplish a specific task. Hey, I'm going to save up all this money really quick, right? Save up all this money. So you're looking at, what is that, 8 grand? I'm going to save up all this money really quick. I'm going to work on my car, get it done. Done. Now I don't have to worry about that headache. Save up this money. The main goal shouldn't be to save it up just to spend the money. The main goal should save it up as much as you can, and then go invest that money. Simplest thing. Go invest that money into real estate. Real estate will be the best play. Real estate or a business. That's it. And then stocks, if you want to take some 10% of that saving out of that 40, take a 10% share, which is another 2,000. You can put that to stock. So super simple. And the main thing is keeping attention to your money and not letting it drift off into the abyss. Same thing with your life. Do not let your life drift off. Keep attention to it. Be proactive on it, and do not delay. I have a saying where I heard it somewhere. If not now, then when? If not me, then who? If not now, when am I going to do this? If not me, then somebody's going to do it. Who's going to do it? So I got to do it. We got to put ourselves out there. We got to make it happen. And the main reason is we got to keep growing. In stagnation, that's where death resides, in stagnation. We got to keep moving and grooving. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody has their own goals. Everybody has their own goals. And mine is to help individuals where I was before, to help them and help them get to the next level. And this is my way of doing it. Let's see what happens. Other than that, catch you guys later.